Thank you, Mr. President, fellow Rotarians, and distinguished guests. It is with great privilege that I introduce my friend, Mike Unes, today. Mike is the Carle Health Greater Peoria Vice President of Business Development and Community Relations. I think I got all the title right there. Mike is a community-minded leader with a proven track record in public service and philanthropy. Prior to his current role, Mike was the Vice President for Philanthropy, where he utilized his commitment to the community by generating resources for the sustainability and advancement of healthcare in the Greater Peoria area. Prior to joining the Carle Health team, Unes served 5 terms in the Illinois General Assembly, representing the 91st District in the House of Representatives. There, Mike focused on improving the quality of life, access of quality services, and Illinois overall financial stability. Unes is still active with many organizations in the community, including the East Peoria Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and the Wildlife Prairie Park Board of Directors. Among his many accomplishments, Mike has been named the East Peoria Distinguished Citizen of the Year by the East Peoria Chamber of Commerce and one of Peoria's 40 leaders under 40. Also, a fun fact that Mike was once a Rotarian. I guess you're still a Rotarian, okay? And he was a member of the East Peoria Club, and he's a past president there and a Paul Harris Fellow. And Mike is a native of Central Illinois, received his bachelor's degree from Bradley University, which is where Mike and I met. Mike and his beautiful wife, Natalie, and their 4 children live in East Peoria. So let's give a warm Peoria-North welcome to Mike Unes.
Thank you, Adam, for that kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I am pretty biased. I love Rotary, so it's great to be here. I've actually presented a handful of times to this very Rotary Club, but in different capacities. So I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you in a different capacity and give you a deeper introduction to Carle Health for the Greater Peoria. So thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. And Jason, to your point, since good news went a little longer, I'll cut it short for a couple of reasons. One, it's National Scotch Day, I just found out. And anytime I talk to Rotary, I know I can rip on Mark Joseph because he's never been to a Rotary Club. So I had to quickly delete a bunch of slides because Mark Joseph's here. It'll be a little shorter. But in all seriousness, I am very proud and very honored to talk to you about Carle Health. It's a phenomenal organization. I know many of you commented, and a lot of people have talked to me about how quickly the transition took place on April 1st. A lot of people amazed at just how fast signs went up. So if any of you ever need signs hung, you know who to call. We've done a pretty good job at hanging signs, but we've done a very good job of already integrating into the Greater Peoria area. And I'm so excited that that's just begun. There's a lot of exciting things that will be taking place and something that I know Greater Peoria, all of us will be very proud of and excited to be a part of. So before I talk in going deeper into the weeds about Carle Health, there's just a short introductory video that I would like to play for you. It's just a few minutes long. I'm proud of this video because every part of this video was produced and filmed right here in Greater Peoria in our hospital. So you might recognize a few of the people, but it's just a soft intro to Carle Health, and then I'll be back in a few minutes to talk to you a little bit more.
I am the first hello. I am the next big step. I am the captain of clean and the marshal of mayhem. I am the last one out of the office and the first one on the floor. I am a nurse. I am a doctor. I'm the one who makes the coffee that makes this place run. And together, we are Carle Health, a regional health system bringing advanced care to Central Illinois. We are researchers on the cutting edge, graduates of the world's first engineering-based College of Medicine, and innovators who are always moving forward. Because we've fixed our focus on the one thing that matters most. Not buildings or technology, but the amazing transformations that take place when patients aren't just one thing, they're the only thing. At Carle Health, that focus drives us from the edge of science to the heart of the community, providing exceptional care for all those sharing the same prairie sky and reaching for the same broad horizon. We're not just one hospital or one advanced medical team. We're bold collaborators with physicians, researchers, and university partners, training the next generation of care providers and translating clinical research into exceptional patient care. And we do it all for one simple reason: to be there for our patients when they need us most, in the tragedy and the triumphs, in the hard days and the home stretch, in the uncertain moments and the moment it's certain that everything will change. We provide the compassion that leads to transformative care. And now we're bringing all of that to the greater Peoria area, gaining new healthcare partners, new teaching expertise, and new behavioral health capabilities by joining forces with a committed leader that's been serving that community for more than a century. Together, we are better. We are stronger and more prepared to meet the challenges of tomorrow. We are Carle Health. First hello.
Thank you very much for letting me share that with you. Again, it's something that Carle came in very quickly and started walking the walk and talking the talk, and we have all been very impressed. And I'll share with you more, a little bit more about what Carle Health is. First of all, and I'll get into the differences in the transition from UnityPoint to Carle, but we have always shared some of the same values, and that became very evident very quickly. And I put our mission, vision, and values up here just to share with you so you can glance at them real quick. But one thing that stands out is it's not just lip service. It's not just words on a piece of paper or words on the wall. We start every meeting by reciting the mission, vision, and values. It's something that we truly do believe in. It's part of our culture, and it's very welcoming and rewarding to see. We've always had in the Peoria region the state-of-the-art services, and now we're able to expand on these. And this is why, and I'll spend a couple minutes on the slide because it's exactly why this transition to Carle Health means so much to the Peoria region. As I said, we've already shared a lot of the same values, and now we're able to share it in the resources. So when a specialist who goes to med school and it goes 12 to 15 years of schooling and has all sorts of specialties, he or she doesn't want to just get hired into one hospital anymore. And that is why healthcare systems across the nation have been growing, so they can share in those resources, so they can share in those specialties. And UPH, we loved UPH. UPH loved us. This was not a divorce from UPH. In fact, quite the opposite. In fact, kudos to UPH, because they really were walking the walk and talking the talk too, and saying, hey, this is really about patient care. And if we really believe in our values, this is something that we need to embrace and allow to happen. Because quite honestly, it was really hard to share those specialty services with Des Moines, Iowa. Contrary to that, though, it's really easy to share a lot of specialty services when you have pretty much the entire I-74 corridor. So now that we have those specialty services, we can share with Bloomington, we can share with Champaign, we can share with Danville. And it just makes a whole lot of sense because we've already had some of the award-winning services and they do too. And now when you combine those, the winner is the greater Peoria area. And that is why one of the biggest reasons why I am so excited about this transition to Carle Health. It wasn't that long ago that Methodist was its own community hospital, that Pekin was its own community hospital, that Proctor was its own community hospital. And so we kind of really grew up in a regional healthcare system through UnityPoint. We owe them a lot of kudos. But through no fault of their own, we sometimes felt like we were on an island just because of the geographics. And now we've got the organization of a strong regional healthcare system with the 3 hospitals, with over 50 clinics, with the Halt Center, with Trillium Place. And now we're able to combine that with real state-of-the-art facilities and services all throughout the I-74 corridor. And like I said, the ultimate winner is all of us here in the greater Peoria region because our patients are really going to win with these services. So you can see we have got all sorts of national recognition and accreditations. The magnet recognition is about the highest recognition you can receive, which we have already at Methodist, and Carle hospitals have too. So it has been awarded the Great Place to Work in healthcare nationwide for several years now. Of all the services that were listed on this slide, I purposely left out behavioral health could be on this slide, but I wanted to pull out behavioral health separately. A lot of people know Methodist as kind of the premier behavioral health facility in all of Central Illinois, and it is. As a matter of fact, we are the only provider for inpatient behavioral health, mental health services, inpatient mental health services in the hospital at Methodist anywhere in Central Illinois. And so when people hear that, they think, well, that can't be right. We've got the Children's Hospital, and the Children's Hospital is great, but they don't provide those services. So being the only provider in Central Illinois that provides the mental health services for kids and adolescents, we see it as our responsibility and we take it seriously. Quite honestly, it's not a profit center. In fact, we've been the only provider in this arena since we started. We were the first provider in the mental health, behavioral health arena anywhere in Peoria, which started in 1954. Several years after that, we started the children and mental health, adolescent mental health unit at Methodist. We've never turned a profit on that unit because that's not what it's about. We see it as our responsibility, and over the last several years, that need has grown beyond the capacity that we have at the one hospital. And so we're taking that seriously and we're trying to address it. And I cannot tell you how excited and proud I am about the Young Minds Project. It's a passion of mine and something that we are working diligently on. The Young Minds Project is essentially building a children's hospital for mental illness. It's going to allow us to ultimately, at the end of the day, more than double our current capacity of beds. But beyond that, it's going to allow us to have a much deeper, make a much deeper impact on the child. When the child is well enough to be discharged from the hospital, we're not going to say goodbye. In fact, they're going to come back to the same familiar setting, seeing some of the same familiar faces, and they're going to go through a very diligent and intensive outpatient program. That outpatient program is going to have some specialty care. It's going to have parental family care. We're going to be able to really get to the heart of trying to heal holistically the individual. And we're really excited about it. Not to mention the fact that it is heartbreaking right now, absolutely heartbreaking, when we just don't have a bed. There are not enough beds for the number of people that need the help. And so we're really making an effort to not only address the capacity issue, but to really modernize the way that this is being dealt with. In other words, you're not going to be on a very high hospital floor that seems very institutional. This is why we purchased the old Headington Oaks that is now becoming the Young Minds Center out in West Peoria. It's going to be on one level. It's going to have natural lighting. We're going to have specialized therapies like music and art therapies. And we're really making a huge difference. It's going to make a huge difference in literally thousands and thousands of lives. So Young Minds Project is, you can see that we all have passion about it, something that I'm very passionate about. It is something that when I was with philanthropy and still am working on fundraising wise. And if anyone has interest or would love to like to hear more about it, I would love to privately, set up some time to talk and go deeper into the weeds with you about what we will do with the Young Minds Project. So that is a very brief introduction of Carle Health to the Peoria region. They have made a splash already, and there will be some exciting things to come down the road that I know that you will be proud of, that I'm really looking forward to and excited about. Their theme through this whole transition was better together. And I think especially with the shared values that we have already in the geographic setting that we are in, it makes all the sense in the world. And we truly are better together. And again, this area is going to be the ultimate winner in that. So I want to say thank you for letting me come in and give you a brief introductory of Carle Health. I'm happy to talk with any of you after or down the way. And I'd like to take a few minutes and answer any questions if there are any.
So I just found out my son's in your video. I didn't even know that. But my daughter also works for Carle in Champaign. But what I was shocked to know is when I heard they were taking over, is that how many different facilities Carle actually has. And I mean, I at one time had like 100 facilities. Is that correct?
Oh, system-wide.
System-wide,
it would be over that,
over
especially now. Yeah.
I mean, that's just incredible. And I know both my children have mentioned the smooth transition and
yeah,
my son transitioning, he works at radiation oncology, and he said it was a really smooth transition. So he was very impressed in that regard. So appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that very much. I mean, it really, if you think about all that transpired and all that went into, combining all of the resources that we had to, it was really remarkable. There's been some hiccups, but there's always going to be those, but those have been very minimal and it's been refreshing. So thank you for saying that.
So the Peoria Art Guild is venturing into art therapy, and especially for young people. So I think that would be a real good thing to partner with Carle on and with your Young Minds project. I think that'd be great. Have you guys already been reaching out in that area?
We have, in fact, thank you for saying that. I know if you're familiar with Abraham Blue downtown and some of the festivities that will be happening this fall, we are partnering with them. And there are, you're right, some great tie-ins to how art and behavioral health can work very well together. So I would love to talk to you further about it too. Thank you for mentioning that.
I don't have a question, but I have a statement. If you've been following Carle or Epic this week, the last 3 days, they decided to transfer all of the furniture, hospital beds from Trillium Place Young Minds Center to Epic. As a hospital facility, they can't use the same materials that the senior living center did. So instead of throwing them away, doing something else with them, they offered them to Epic first. So we just got thousands, maybe millions of dollars worth of equipment from Carle Health. So thank you for continuing to be a community partner.
We're really proud to do and appreciate all the services that Epic provides, and proud to be an Epic supporter. But yeah, the beds unfortunately weren't hospital, grade beds that we could put to use, but we wanted to make sure that they were still put to use. So thank you.
We're trained to make sure that the Zoom folks can hear us when we cut the microphone. It took a while, but got it down. Just out of curiosity, with the specialist and the shared resources, does that involve some of the specialists in like the Champaign-Urbana area doing procedures for patients in our community and vice versa? Or what does that look like in terms of sharing those expertise? Because I know it's always a struggle to get some of the specialists to Peoria, let alone Central Illinois.
Yeah, so great question. I would say two parts to that answer. Number one, I think ultimately the answer is yes. We would like to be able to do both ways, vice versa, right? But then number two, it's with recruitment and retention, a huge piece for us. Because to your point, it's hard to, sometimes hard. We all have that problem, right? It's not just healthcare, although healthcare has been really hit hard, and it's, recruiting and staffing has been very difficult since COVID. But every industry has had a struggle with staffing. And so I think the more that we can bring all of this together and really sell the entire region, and there's so much that Peoria has to offer. You said it best with your staycation, but it's putting all those pieces of the puzzle together and then being able to share those resources. So from a recruitment and retention standpoint, it's huge for us. And we've already actually started to see some of the success. And I'll tell you the other thing from a behavioral health standpoint too is the truth is there, because we're putting together something in the Young Minds Center that we don't know of another place like it in the nation. And Carle, it was one of the first things we talked about because the Young Minds Project campaign was already underway. And that was one of the first discussions we had. And they were over the moon excited about that because the need is just as great in Champaign and there's no other place like it. So I think for all those reasons, you're going to be able to, we'll be able to take advantage of those shared resources.
Hi, Jen Burwitz here. I just want to ask you really quickly. First of all, thank you for coming. I'm learning a lot. I was wondering if you could speak to upgrades, because I know it's so important, and especially in the medical industry, things change so fast. And God forbid any one of us needs a procedure, you always want top-notch, equipment and top-notch doctors working. And so I was wondering, could you just elaborate a little bit on all the wonderful things you guys are doing and across Central Illinois?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, the behavioral health upgrades are tremendous, and I've spoken to those. The robotic care surgery instruments that we have had some, they have some already, so there's going to be more available in the Central Illinois area because of being better together. But I would say the resources go beyond just the medical equipment too, right? I mean, it's no secret. We're not number one in market share in Peoria, and we have some really stiff, tough, good competition that's healthy. And I think competition is really good. And so from the standpoint of being able to find and secure not only the state-of-the-art facilities, but state-of-the-art talent that we have already in the area, and then also be able to promote some of that talent to the area. We're going to be able to compete more financially with those resources, and I think that's another area where you're going to see some of the good changes. All of that, and this is not a, please believe me, I do believe competition is good, and all of that I think is going to make healthcare in so many ways better in the greater Peoria area. And so we'll all benefit from that. And something I'm very excited about. You're welcome. Thank you.
Questions about Methodist College. Is Carle, does it control or own Methodist College, or are they independent?
So great question, Jim. First of all, so Methodist College is part of the region. I didn't mention that but yeah, so it's for our greater Peoria region, it's the 3 hospitals, all of the doctors' clinics, the Halt Center, Trillium Place, Methodist College. And that doesn't change. And one thing I should have mentioned is we still have the same local governing board. So people that you're familiar with in the Peoria community are still on our philanthropy board, are still on our overall big board overseeing all that. And Methodist College is a big part of it. So I omitted that, and I shouldn't have. So thank you for giving me the chance to talk about Methodist College. It's a premier nursing school, and we're real proud of it, and we want to grow enrollment to that. And we want to grow our own nurses, to be quite honest with you. So, well, thank you all very much. Thank you again.